Hi, my name is David Coffin. I wrote the story called The Weight of Our Souls. It's set in a kind of a dystopian, futuristic setting. It follows the story of two characters, Easton and Adam, as they survive in this cruel and harsh environment. They're trying to complete their mission of collecting souls and preventing a ancient evil from awakening. I would say one of my biggest artistic influences, at least for this story, is Hajime Isayama. He created the dark fantasy manga Attack on Titan. His storytelling really kind of influenced the way I tell darker stories. Also shows like Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Star Wars kind of influenced the overall aesthetic of the project and stuff. I think the main challenge I faced was the execution. Like, here's a story I want to tell, but how exactly do I want to tell it? And it's just figuring out all these small details, like the color schemes and the character designs, all these like little things you have to pay attention to, which can be overwhelming, but it's worth it in the end. I think the biggest breakthrough for me and just the biggest lesson I learned overall was being satisfied with your work, even if it's not perfect, because in the end, eventually you have to move on. There's a deadline you have to meet, and that's okay. And it's just part of the artistic process as we grow. So I was familiar with Blender before this project, which is the 3D software that I use, but I never really touched it before. So I was really interested to see like how could I use this cool technology to like make things go faster and do things in a way that I didn't really see other people doing them. And I really liked the models I made. I think they add more depth to the work and are just a good tool to like have in my arsenal. So I'm hoping once like this project is complete, it can serve as the basis for maybe something else, maybe a continuation of this project, or maybe I'll apply what I've learned here to future projects that I'll be working on. A lot of people responded like they liked the design choices, the overall cyberpunk aesthetic. It kind of reminded them of other series like Edge Runners, which is something I was going for, so that's good that people were reacting in that way.
Illustrative storytelling is a class in the School of Technology, Art and Design where illustration students finally put together all of their illustration skills into a uniquely stylized, expressive story in the form of sequential visual narratives, otherwise known as graphic novels or comic books. Students begin with character design, paying close attention to color palettes, shape language, and distinctive silhouettes. They then move to designing their worlds and thinking about their settings as another character with its own personality, color palettes, and shape languages. Then they move on to storyboarding. This is where the narrative really starts to take shape. This stage can be rough and sketchy or more planned out, clean and organized, but it is always kept to the basic minimal visual elements so that changes can be made once the story becomes unified and the details are added in and polished. The layouts of each page are polished by editing panel compositions for visual tracking and readability, and color palettes are used to express the mood or atmosphere of each scene, and the pages are treated as complete compositions, not just a series of panels. Finally, the unification stage is where it all comes together, as students share their narratives in progress, seeking criticism and problem solving to achieve clarity and unity in both the who, what, where, and why, but more importantly, the expressive communication of ideas or emotions. At this stage, students sit down to express their process in their own words.